Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Royalty Code here, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be taking you through the process on how I drafted this mono sleeve blouse that you're seeing on the screen here. Now this is a corset mono sleeve blouse, and the drafting pattern that I'm doing now was the drafting pattern that was used to make this particular blouse that you're seeing on your screen. Now if this video is a video you're interested in, please keep on watching to the end, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also turn on your notification bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. So basically for this tutorial, since we are doing the drafting pattern, I'm going to be making use of this pattern paper you see over here, and also our curve ruler, of course, and our masking tape with a pencil and an eraser. So these are the materials that I'll be using for the drafting pattern. So let's get started. Well, the measurement we are going to be needing will be our bust point. So your bust point is from your shoulder to your nipple. You'll be needing your bust point, your under bust length, that's from your shoulder to under your breast. You'll be needing your waist length and also the full length of the blouse you're making. So for me, I'm making use of the full length of 26 inches. So the blouse you just saw on the video is 26 inches. The waist length that I'm making use of is waist length of 18 inches. The under bust length I'm making use of is the under bust length of 14 inches, and the bust point that I'm working with is a bust point of 11 inches. So you also be needing your round bust. So for me, the round bust I'm working with is 42 inches. The round waist that I'm working with is 38 inches. And the round hip that I'm working with is round hip of 45 inches. So this is the measurement that I'm working with. Now do well to measure yours so that you can get accurately the measurement you're to work with. So after that, you'll be needing your bust span. That's your nipple to nipple measurement. So for me, the bust span I'm working with is 8 inches. And you also be needing your shoulder measurement. That's shoulder to shoulder measurement. I'm working with the shoulder to shoulder of 16 inches. And also your round armhole measurement. My round armhole is also 16 inches. So basically, these are the measurements that you'll be needing. So do well to measure yours to get the correct measurements that you need. So let's get started with the drafting. So for the drafting purpose, this line over here will be serving as my shoulder line. The tip of this line over here will be serving as my shoulder line. So I'm going to go ahead and impute co-measurement. So from the shoulder line, which I told you, this tip here is my shoulder line. I'm going to mark the bust point that I'm working with, which is 11 inches, the under bust, which is 14 inches, and my waist length, which is 18 inches, and the full length of the blouse that I'm working with, which is 26 inches. But my paper here, I have 24 inches, so I'm going to be adding another paper additive to complete it to 26 inches. I don't know if you understand. So my paper stopped at 24, but I'll be joining a paper at the end to make it up to 26 inches, which is the blouse length that we are working with. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that later. So let me just extend it. My bust point, my under bust, my waistline, and then my full line. After that, I'm going to go ahead and label it. This is our bust point, this is our shoulder line, bust point, under bust length, waist length, and then our full length. So basically this is it. Now the next thing we are going to go ahead and do is to divide our shoulder to shoulder measurement into two. So the measurement will be from this edge, that's the folded edge. So the shoulder to shoulder measurement that I'm working with is 16 inches. 16 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and impute it horizontally this way, just like you see me do over here. Now to determine where this shoulder to shoulder measurement will be stopping horizontally, I'm going to go ahead and divide my round armhole measurement into two. So I'm working with the round armhole of 16 inches. 16 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and measure it up this way, just like you see me do over here. And I'll go ahead and extend the line with my ruler. So basically, after extending the line, this is what we have here. So for the neck width that I want to work with, I'll be working with the neck width of 3 inches. You can choose to do more or less depending on what you want to work with. So for the depth, I'll be working with the neck depth of also 3 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and connect it to get our neck curve, just like you see me do over here. So we've gotten our neck curve. Now for our shoulder slope, I'm going to come over to this armhole line. I'll come down by 1 inch. Just like you see me do over here. Now I'm going to connect this 1 inch to the neck width that we marked earlier, this way. Now after that, I will measure what I have from this 1 inch that I marked now all the way down to this point. So I have 7 inches left. I'm going to get the center of 7 inches, or you divide whatever measurement you have here into 2. So 7 inches divided by 2 is 3.5. I'm going to mark the center. This is where the 3.5 marked. So at the point that I got the center, I'm going to come in at that point by half of an inch, just like you see me do over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect this half of an inch into this shoulder slope that we have, just like you see me do over here. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide the round bust that I'm working with into 4. So the round bust divided by 4 is 10.5. I'm working with the round bust of 42 inches. 42 inches divided by 4 is 10.5. So I'm going to impute it at the armhole line and not at the bust point. So my round bust divided by 4 was imputed at the armhole line and not at the bust point. Now the purpose of this is for us to get where our armhole curve will be stopping at. I don't know if you understand. So I'm just going to connect this point that I marked my round bust divided by 4 to this half of an inch line that I marked here, just like you see me do over here. So we've gotten our armhole curve, just as simple as that. So the next thing we are going to go ahead and do now is to impute our bust span. That's your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So I'm working with the bust span of 8 inches or nipple to nipple measurement of 8 inches. So I'm going to divide 8 inches into 2, which is 4 inch. So I'm going to mark it at the bust point, at the under bust length, at the waist length, and also at the full length of the blouse that we are making. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it upward this way. So after that, I'm going to go ahead and extend this bust span line a little bit upwards. Let's just say 3 inches above your bust, let's say 3 inches above your bust point. So I just want to extend it up a little bit. So I don't know if you can see this. Now this is what we have. Now what we are going to go ahead and do right now is to impute our cup size. Now the cup size does not actually determine the person's round bust measurement. Your cup size actually determines the quantity of the breast that you have. That's the quantity of the boobs that is available, and not actually the round bust. I don't know if you understand. There are some people that are not busty, but their round bust measurement is always much, and there are some people that are busty but they are not really that fat. So for you to determine the cup size that you're to use for your client, just make sure that you know the quantity of the boobs that the person has. So for a normal breast, that's for a normal size boobs that is not too big, that is not too small, you can use a cup size of 1 inch. That's 1 inch, 1 inch, that's 2 inch in total. You can use 2 inch. For someone that is too busty, you can use cup size of 3 inches in total. Then for a smaller breast, you can use a cup size of 1.5 inches. So I don't know if you understand. For a normal size of breast, you can use a cup size of 1.5 inches. For not too big, not too small, just normal, you can use 1. That's 2 inches in total. Then for someone that is too busty, you can use 3 inches. So since my client is not too busty but just okay, I'm going to be using the cup size of 2 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and divide the 2 inches into 2, which is 1 inch, and I'll be marking that on my waistline from the center of this bust span measurement that I have here. So I marked the 1 inch on that bust too, and also on the waistline. I don't know if you can see. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it like this and like this. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do at this point is to also mark the 1 inch at the full length of the blouse that I'm making. So I marked it too at the full length, and I'm also going to connect it all the way down this way. So I don't know if it is visible enough. So at the bust point line, I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch, just like you see me do over here. And I'm going to be using my curve ruler to connect from this 1 inch into this 1 inch line that I marked. Just watch the way I'm placing my curve ruler. So basically this is it. Then I'll also do the same thing for the other side. I don't know if it is visible enough. So this is actually what we have. We are trying to get our cup area. So after that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is, remember that this is a mono sleeve that we are working with. I don't know if you understand. It's a mono sleeve. So cutting on this pattern paper for the illustration, I'm going to be working with everything on fold. So after that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do right now is to replicate everything that I've done on this side of this pattern paper to this side. That means I'm going to be redrawing everything that I did here at this other side of the pattern paper. I don't know if you understand. It's just like getting the center of this drafting paper that we are doing here. So just watch closely to what I'm doing so that you wouldn't get lost and you would actually understand what I'm saying. And after replicating what I did on this side of my pattern paper to this side, I'm just going to open it up so that you would see what it looks like. So by the time you're done, you should be having two parts of this. So I'm just going to connect the lines so that it would meet each other this way. Basically, after marking yours, this is what you should be having. It's just like having a full body basic pattern that it's not unfold. So this is it, and this is the center line because we have a mark here. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to measure which side I want to be the right or the left. So I'll be making use of here to be the right, and here will be the left. I don't know if you can see, so go ahead and measure yours. This is right and this is left. So for the mono sleeve, I'll be working with it on the left side of my pattern paper, while the right side of this pattern paper will be the one with the sleeve. So let's just continue from this. So at this point that I marked the center of this armhole that you see over here, I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect it in a curvy way all the way down to this bust point that I have here. Just watch what I'm trying to do. So we are trying to get our cup area effect. So this is what we have. I don't know if you can see. I connected from the center of this armhole all the way down to the bust point that I have on the right side. So this is what we have. Now I'm going to go ahead and extend outward from this half inch that we came in by here. I'm going to come out by 1 inch. Now this is to enable that this the cup area does not actually shorten after joining it. I don't know if you understand. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark up to that 1 inch that I marked vertically this way, just like you see me do over here. So just make sure that it's 1 inch. So I've extended it. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect it to the armhole again. So this will be serving as our new armhole line, just like you see me do over here. So this is the new armhole line that we'll be working with. I don't know if you can see this. So after that, we are actually done with this part of our cup area. So let's go over to the other side. So for this other side, that will be the mono strap sleeve. That's the side without a shoulder. I'm going to be connecting from this neck width. Now it determines how down you want yours to be. So for me, from the shoulder slope, I'm going to be coming down by, let's say, 6 inches, because my client wouldn't want it to be too open. So I marked 6 inches. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my curve ruler to connect from this neck width that you see over here down to that point that I marked my 6 inches. Now it depends on how you want the shape of your mono strap to be. You don't want it to be too curvy or less curvy. I don't know how to explain it, but any shape you want your mono strap strip to be, just go ahead and draw the shape like that. So for me, I just connected from this neck depth that I had here all the way down to the 6 inches that I marked. I don't know if it is visible enough. So this is what I have here. Now I'm going to extend this bust pan line all the way down to that point that I marked. And on both sides, I'm going to be marking 1 inch on both sides too. That's still the cup size that I used for the person. If you're using 1.5 inches, that means you have to divide 1.5 inches into 2 and mark it on the both end this way. So this is what I'm going to do. From this point, I'm going to connect it all the way to this point like this. I don't know if you can see. Then from this 1 inch to, I'm going to connect it to the bust point. Just watch closely to what I'm doing. So we are trying to get the cup for the left area. So basically, this is what the cup for the left area is looking like. I don't know if you can see. So this is what we have for the mono slap area, and this is what we have for this part that has a sleeve. So basically this is it for the cup area. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is to replace this 2 inch that I'm going to be taking away from this point. I'm going to come over to this armhole area and I'm going to be marking the same 2 inch. Now remember, if you did 1.5 inch, that's 0.75, 0.75, just replace whatever cup size that you took from this point. So since mine is 2 inches, I'm going to replace the 2 inches back, just like you see me, and I'm going to make sure that the line that I did for my mono strap sleeve is extended to that 2 inches, and I'm going to be creating my new armhole at this point. So if you don't understand, you can just go ahead and rewatch the video for you to download it very well. So basically this is what it is looking like. I don't know if you can see. So this is that for the cup area. Now let's go ahead and input our body measurement. Now I have a line here that is indicating as my center line. So I'm going to go ahead and divide the round bust that I'm working with into 4. Now we have 42 into 4 is 10.5, which I marked at this point. So I'm going to be adding extra 2-inch sewing allowance to it. You can choose to add more or less depending on what you have. So I'm adding 2-inch at this point and also adding 2-inch at this point. So whatever allowance I add at the right, I'm going to be adding at the left. So at the waistline, I'm going to divide my round waist into 4. I'm working with a round waist of 38. 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. So from this center point, from this center line that I have here, I'm going to be marking the 9.5, just like you see me do over here. And I'm going to be replacing this 2-inch that we have for our cup area back. So I'm replacing the 2-inch, then extra 2-inch for seam allowance. So I'm going to do the same thing at the right side too. From the center, mark your round waist divided by 4, plus the 2-inch that we took for our cup, plus another 2-inch for the stitching allowance. So at the full length of the blouse we are making, we'll be imputing our round hip divided by 4. So I'm working with a round hip of 45. 45 divided by 4 is 11.25. So from this center line, I'm marking 11.25 plus the 2-inch for our cup that we took, plus extra 2-inch allowance. So I'm going to connect it just like you see me do over here. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing at this point too. My round hip divided by 4 from this center line, 11.25 plus 2-inch of the cup, then plus extra 2-inch for the stitching allowance. And I'm also going to join it just like the other one. Now remember that I told you that this is a corset blouse and I want to be doing a little bit snatching for the owner of the dress. So I'm going to be coming in, I want to be doing 2-inch snatching from the normal body measurement. So I'm going to be coming in by 1/2 inch at the waistline on both sides. Now you can choose to do 1 inch depending on how snatched you want it to be, but for me I think 2-inch in total, that's 1/2 inch on both sides, it's okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and reconnect it this way. I don't know if you can see. So I'll also go ahead and do the same thing this way. You can choose also not to snatch it if that's what you want, but I think the snatching effect will give it a more gooder shape. So basically this is what we have. I don't know if it is visible enough for you to see. I don't know. So basically we are done for the front pattern of this dress. Now for the scallops that was done at the down area of the blouse, you can choose to just do that after joining your pattern paper so that it will be in a uniform shape. I don't know if you understand. You can do the scallop after joining your fabrics together. So be that for this front pattern, let's go ahead and cut this out so that we can draft the back corset of this blouse that we are making. Basically after cutting this is what we have. So this is the side of the nose sleeve. So this is the center. That's the part of it, as you can see how it's looking like, and this is the part that has the sleeve area part of it. So basically this is what yours should be looking like after cutting it. I don't know if you can see. So this is actually what we have here. Now we are going to go ahead and place this aside for us to cut the back pattern that is a corset. So let's get started. So for the back pattern, we are going to be doing just a basic body first, then after which I'll show you how to get the corset part of it. So you go with your shoulder to shoulder divided by 2. So mine is 16 inches, just like we did for the front part. Divided by 2 is 8 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 8 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it all the way down this way. So horizontally, you get your armhole divided by 2 inches. So mine is 8 inches too. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it. So after that, I'm going to go ahead and mark my bust point. So this is actually the back. So my bust point is 11 inches. My underbust length is 14 inches. My waist length is 18 inches. And then the full length of what we are working with. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that down and extend the lines. Now, mind you, if you want yours to have a zipper at the back, you can just add extra 1 inch at the center, just like the normal way you add 1 inch for your zipper allowance. I don't know if you understand. So, but for me, this is a corset, so there's no need of adding extra 1 inch at the center part of it for a zipper. I don't know if you understand. So remember, we did the neck width of 3 inches. I'm going to do the same thing here so that our shoulder will align. So for the depth of the back, I'll be doing the depth of 2 inches. So I'm going to connect it this way. I don't know if you can see. So I'm going to come down at this point for our shoulder slope. I'm just replicating what I did at the front piece for the back piece. So I came down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope, and I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines this way. Measure what I have left. I have 7 inches. Divide 7 inches into 2. Get the center point. At that point that I got the center, I'll be coming in by half of an inch, and I'll be connecting it down to that shoulder slope. So at the armhole line, I'm going to be dividing my round bust by 4. So I'm working with 42. 42 by 4 is 10.5. So I'm going to mark 10.5 here to determine how and where our armhole curve will be stopping at. So basically, this is it for our armhole curve. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to extend those armhole line that I have here all the way down to the center part of it. I don't know if you can see, I just extended the armhole line. So at that point that I extended it, I'll be coming in by 2 inches from the center. Then at the full length of the blouse that I'm working with, I'll be coming in by 1 inch. So at the center here is 2 inch, at the down part here is 1 inch. Now the purpose of this is for you to be more snatched at the bust and waist area. Then coming down to looping it to your hip part, it will not really tighten your hip. I don't know if you understand. Now you can even choose to do 2 inch up and 2 inch down, but it will make your corset to look straight. So for you to get that V look at the back of your corset, you have to reduce the down part of it. So for me, I'm doing 2 inch up, then 1 inch down, just as you can see. So when you look closely, you notice that the line is not looking straight, it's looking a little bit slanted. So that's how the back of your corset will be if you actually do this. But if you do 2 inch up, 2 inch down, the back of it is going to be looking straight. It still depends on what you want to work with. So basically, this is it. So I'm going to be marking extra 2 inch from that new line that I have here all the way down to my full length for our panel. I don't know if you can see. So I marked 2 inch. The 2 inch here now is constant. While sewing it, you're going to be replacing it back for your panel. So this is where our loops is going to be, but we are going to be cutting it out and replacing it for our back panel. I don't know if you understand. So for the round waist, I'm going to divide it by 4, and I'm working with the round waist of 38. So 38 inches divided by 4 is 9.5. So I'm going to come at the waistline and mark 9.5. Now remember, my measurement is from this edge, not from this 2 inch. So just start your measurement intake from the folded part. So 9.5 plus 2 inch seam allowance that I added to the front part. So I'm going to add extra 2 seam allowance at this armhole line. So for the hip, my round hip divided by 4 is 11.25 plus 2 inch sewing allowance that I added to the front part. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it just like you see me do over here. So this is what we have. Now remember that we subtracted half of an inch from our normal body measurement at the waist to get a more snatched effect. So I'm going to be coming in at this point by half of an inch and reconnect it, just like you see me do over here. So basically, this is what our back piece should be looking like for the back of our dress. Now, what I normally do when it comes to this point is I would use this one pattern paper to cut the other side of the blouse that has a sleeve. I don't know if you understand. I would use it this way to cut the back that has a sleeve before actually trimming off the armhole area for the other side. So let me just try to illustrate what I just explained now. Let me cut this so that you see what it looks like. So there's no need of making use of this center part. This 2-inch panel, you're going to be replacing it just like the way you do your normal corset. So you replace this 2-inch for that part. So I don't know if you understand. Basically, after cutting this pattern out, I'm just going to go ahead and rule a straight line starting from the neck width we have here all the way down to this armhole line that we have here, just like you see me do over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw the line like this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. So basically this is out for it. Now what I normally do is I use this pattern on its own. I use this pattern on its own to cut for the side that has a sleeve. I don't know if you can see it. Then for the panel, I can just attach a little bit panel at this end. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I can just go in by half of an inch from that point just to get a point where I can attach my panel for the boning. So I can just go in by half of an inch at this point and then try to blend it out a little bit, just like you see me do over here. So with this half of an inch, I can attach my modesty panel or the panel for the corset loop for it. So I'll just sew with half of an inch at this point. Then after cutting this on the main fabric for the part that has a sleeve, the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do is, remember for the front part I came down by 6 inches for us to get our mono sleeve. So I will do the same thing for this other part to come down by 6 inches at this point and extend the line just like you see me do over here. So I just extended the line towards this part. So make sure you cut the part that has a sleeve first with this pattern like this. Then after that, you can now go ahead and come down by how many inches you came down on the front piece with. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and trim this up for the part that has a mono sleeve. So this is what you should have at the end of the day, and that will basically be the end part of it for the back part of this corset that we are making. So also remember to replace the 2-inch that we took for your eyelet stand. I think pattern is going to be helpful for you, and please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also turn on your notification bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. See you in our next video. Bye.